Well, good afternoon, Rumble Land and YouTube Land. This is Larry Barnett. We're going to be doing a little bit of a talk about Springfield, Ohio today. Now, I also do Veterans Affairs with Larry Barnett, so if you're a veteran, would you please give us a follow maybe and check out that information. But I decided today I have a website, newsfromlarry.com, that I'm going to be promoting on this particular podcast. So if you get a chance, please go over to newsfromlarry.com and drop a little note there in my guest book. Let me know that you've been by. I do live in Springfield, Ohio. I've been here about 30 years now. I was brought here by Clark State Community College to work in a truck driver training program. That's how I came here. I was in Blanchester, Ohio, and came up here to Springfield to work. I've seen a lot of changes over the last 30 years, some good, some not so good. Um, I I have mixed feelings. I'm trying to deal with those particular things now because I don't wish ill on nobody. Folks, the Haitian population here has flat overwhelmed the city. I spoke with Mayor Rue here about a week ago and, leveled my criticism. I try to keep things professional. I don't see a lot of folks screaming at each other and talking over top of each other and um, not listening. Key to solving any problem, folks, is to begin with, is to listen. But I did talk to Bob Rue and told him what my criticism was. I said, I don't know how this came about. I don't know how they came about being here. But what I do know is that a city with a population of 57,000 cannot take a hit of 8,000 to 15,000, is according to who you want to talk to, Haitians that have been in this um, community. People are angry because they got driver's license, and whoever came up with that idea was definitely asleep at the wheel. All they had to do, if I understand right, all that they had to do was go into the license bureau and print out or give them a piece of paper, I guess from the federal government, I think. I don't haven't seen one yet, um, but they were given driver's license and they're driving nice new cars. I'd like to know where those are coming from. Not sure they're all on the government tit, so a lot of freebies going here, and it's angering a lot of people here within Springfield. We've got our own individual problems to deal with. We've got a homeless problem here that Barron's working on. We need to come together as a community. Now, my opinion on this is probably not going to be popular with people on both sides of the issue, and I guess that's okay because I'm a mediator. I like to get involved in these sorts of things and then try to find an answer that brings two sides together. So that's what I'm doing at this point. I'm still learning. I'm learning a lot of things about city government that I wish I'd learned 10 years ago, or for that matter, 20 years ago. But we have new commissioners here in Springfield, three of them, and we're going to be hopefully getting a chance to talk to them about the goings on here in Springfield. Now, folks, the feds are going to do what the feds are going to do. I mean, I don't have a real good answer as to what they're going to do, if anything. Supposedly, Trump's after the worst of the worst. So when they're coming here, that's supposedly who they're going after at this particular point. And folks, I encourage you, cooperate with law enforcement. I know that there's a lot out there and within the Springfield police and maybe being told not to cooperate with ICE if and when they get here. And folks, that's just wrong. The police department is responsible for taking care of the entire community, not just the Haitian community. So I would encourage the chief of police to look closer at that. Excuse me. So let's create a dialogue here. I have a good friend named James from Empty Pockets podcast here on Rumble, and he's on YouTube as well. I said I'd made a comment that somewhere dialogue has to start. If not, we're going to constantly be at each other's throats, and that's not healthy. I don't care who you are, that's not healthy. So instead of talking over top of each other, it may be time we listen a little bit. But like I was telling you, I spoke to a good friend, James. He's got Empty Pockets podcast. I'll say that again. And he's a very intelligent man. And his complaint was, why can't we start a dialogue? Well, that's because they won't listen to a dialogue. And if I say the same thing from the other side, they're going to tell me exactly the same thing. But you have to start somewhere. And I think that's what I'm trying to get to here. We're told that paid protesters are in the area. They were here at City Hall, I think, last week sometime, with rhetoric and anger that's doing the community no good. Saying fuck ICE and to hell with ICE and we ain't cooperating. And folks, I just don't understand. A complaint here has been that Springfield has become a hub for illegal immigrants who come here and just suck up the freebies and then get their green card and head elsewhere in the United States. There's a lot I'm going to have eventually for newsfromlarry.com. I'm going to have James on here as a special guest, and he'll bring out a lot more of these things to you. I'm also going to reach out to city officials and give them an opportunity to say their piece too. These podcasts that I do are not going to be a talk over top of somebody. You get nothing done that way. You get nothing at all done that way. I won't tolerate throwing insults. I'm just not going to tolerate a whole lot other than dialogue. So there has to be a way to fix. I'm a firm believer that everything can be fixed if you have the right tools. Question is, do we have the right tools? You have to understand that our children drive these roads here. And it's dangerous at times because the Haitians are driving with no experience here. No experience. I think they supposedly took care of that. Didn't Gavin Newsom approve like a whole bunch of illegal aliens that could drive trucks? What in the hell were you thinking, Newsom? I drove a truck for almost 30 years. So I do know what they're about. I do know what it takes to drive one. And you do not hand somebody a license and say, presto changeo, you're a truck driver. They tried that years ago. It was called the chauffeur's license. And I'll give away my age here, but in my day when I first started in the trucking industry, I was took a written test, got a chauffeur's license, and presto changeo, I was a truck driver. Now, I was fortunate. I did have somebody to teach me a little bit here as I went along, but I did learn a whole lot on it on my own. You can't drive a truck without some semblance, all right, of approved training. You can't drive a car except that you've completed a course in driver training. So I don't know what the powers to be are thinking about. These supposed to be some intelligent people? Newsom, you about stupid. And you think you're going to be the next president of the United States? We'll see. We'll see. But this is, let me do my due diligence. This broadcast is sponsored by newsfromlarry.com. It's my website. If you take a chance, go over and visit us at newsfromlarry.com and maybe leave a little comment or something and give us some suggestions. We're going to be revamping that website here in the next month. It's going to be torn down and built back. It's primarily going to be focused on Ohio news, Ohio politics. We've got a governor's race coming up here, and I'm very curious what the governor's candidates are going to say to the population problems here in Springfield. That's hopefully we'll get that in the near future and get that out to you. Now, I'm new to Rumble, folks, so I'll make mistakes here as I go along the way. Please bear with me. I've got a lot on my heart and my mind. I love my hometown. I absolutely love my hometown. And I've got some of the greatest people you'd ever want to meet. But guess what? It was also declared the saddest city in the United States. What does that tell you? That tells you you've got a lot of factions who have separate types of opinions and no one to listen to what they're saying. So it automatically, when you don't communicate, it automatically opens up the road for speculation. And speculation and assumptions are absolutely death. Don't speculate. If you want to know something about somebody or what is going on, you've got the city commissioner meetings that you can go to. I'll be starting to attend those just so you know. Um, and make your concerns known. I think I've watched a few of the commissioners' meetings, and the only thing that makes me mad is the hollering. Listen to what I've got to say. And that probably shouldn't bother me as much as it does because sometimes that's the only way you can get somebody to listen. So the question is, if you get somebody to listen to what you're saying, does that change your opinion on the situation here in Springfield? We have those that are absolutely staunch that they are illegals, they need to be out of here. Well, there's some validity to that. The Haitians were brought here under TPS, temporary protection status. All right. It was a contract. They were brought here with a contract from the government that during their tenure here that they would seek uh, legal status. That's not happening, at least on a consistent basis. So obviously the Haitian community is in fear. Well, my thought is, you've been here for a pretty good while. All right, and you sucked off the government and the city's tit for a pretty good while. And if you didn't take your due diligence, your own due diligence, to make yourself legal in this country, it's time to go home. It's time to do it the right way. There is a right way and there is a wrong way. And right now, the wrong way is what's consumed this city. We'll be watching over the next few weeks. TPS expires for the Haitians on February the 3rd. This city is a powder keg. This city is a powder keg. And time's going to tell what's going to happen here. ICE has to have someone that watches their back. I believe there's ways you can go through their website. I'm encouraging everybody to stay away from downtown. Once these protesters get started, you don't want to be in the middle. These are professional protesters. You already seen what they did in Minnesota to that church and walk in. You know, I love to hold to my faith, and I'm a an avid Christian as well. But during that little scene that they created, I had one thing that I wanted to do and punch that big mouth dude in his fucking mouth. I never heard such stupidity in my life. And I think that's what's bothering me about the left. It's just a level of ignorance that I find unfathomable. There's a lot of common sense items that can be brought into this and help heal this community, but that's not going to be the case here, at least not now. So get educated, America. Don't buy into the media hype, but talk to somebody who's there. And we'll be providing and hopefully helping James providing some updates when TPS does expire, exactly what it means for the community. Politicians here in Springfield are doing their um, kind of town halls or questions and answers or meet and greets to try to hopefully take some heat off of this situation. But remember, as I just said, Springfield is a powder keg, and it's going to be just a matter of time before it explodes. Listen up, America. Listen up. This could be coming to a hometown near you sometime. Well, I shouldn't say that. Trump's in office, so that shit ain't going to happen. But either way, it's all over the United States. Columbus, Ohio, the Somalis in Columbus, Ohio here. It's a huge population. And the fraud is said to be able to eclipse the fraud they found in Minnesota. That's unbelievable. That's unbelievable. But what city officials, what do you think they're going to do from where they came from? Both Haitians and Somalis basically come from a country that has no government. It's third world. All you know how to do is to try to steal and hustle everything that you can in order to live. They have brought that same mentality here to Ohio. Mike DeWine, what in God's name were you thinking? Common sense tells you that you can't assimilate that many people into a community all at once. Social Security was overwhelmed. The hospitals were overwhelmed. All the government offices within um, here in Springfield was overwhelmed. Nobody wants to take responsibility, not a bit of responsibility, but it's happening anyway. All right, I'll get off the soapbox with that. We're going to cut this one short here. Remember, I've got a few things going. I've got veteran affairs with Larry Barnett on Rumble and YouTube. I've got newsfromlarry.com, which will be doing uh, hopefully some higher level interviews here. Maybe James can help me with that, but I'll get with him. But keep an eye on us. I will be bringing periodic updates to what's going on here, and anything I think affects a national level, I'll certainly share it with you. But we're not going to be handing out any more secondhand information or information that causes assumptions. We're not going to be dealing with that. We're going to be dealing with fact. When fact is laid out, fact you can deal with. Rhetoric is not. Political grandstanding is not. This community needs healed, and it needs healed today. I'm Larry Barnett, newsfromlarry.com. If you're interested in my military website, it's www.kotang, KOHTANG.com. You can find out exactly who I am. My bio is there. So, with that, folks, have a nice day, and we'll keep you updated. Bye-bye.